Happy Wednesday. I hope that you're as happy as I am, and Gary is to start this series of events. Welcome, and this is our first event for the Arizona Real Estate Boss Babes group. I'm thankful to have you as a partner in the group, and I am thankful, for you joining us today. Today, I would like to introduce our invited speaker, Gary Parnell, and his series, In the Good Times or Bad. Please note that this was done for us. So, again, Gary, thank you so much for doing this for us.
I am excited to be here. I appreciate you asking me. Thank you very much. I'm excited to share this information with everyone. Did you want to turn the host over to me, or how would you like to start?
Yeah, I actually want to do the little introduction about you so they can get to know you, and then I'm going to switch it back. Is that okay?
That's perfect.
Okay, awesome. For those who are not familiar with him, Gary Parnell is a best-selling author on leadership and has been a speaker and trainer since 1989. Gary has been 35 years of corporate business experience and business ownership experience. He has experience and success at all levels of business: sales, sales management, sales training, public speaking, and ran a company as a chief operating officer. Gary also spent 8 of those 35 years as a mortgage loan originator and held a real estate license in the state of Arizona for 4 years. He has spoken nationally and shared stage with professional athletes, best-selling authors, and top business executives. He has been spoken to small and large groups, and is very passionate about delivering information, concepts, and action steps to help individuals, to sales team, and companies to go to a higher level of success. Gary speaks on success principles, leadership, sales, goal setting, and planning. The information that he delivers is designed to change the thinking or mindset of the people that listen. It also inspires them to take immediate action on to change. If you change your mindset, you can change the world around you. And the stage is all yours, Gary.
Again, Christian, thank you for inviting me. I met Christian 3 years ago at a NAREP meeting where I came down to Tucson to speak. I live in the Scottsdale area, but I came down to Tucson to speak, had a chance to meet her and her child, and we took a picture together, and I shared some of these principles at that time, but it's always good to hear them again, because Christian mentioned that I'm going to do a 3-part for all of you. Today's going to be about some of the success principles. In fact, I emailed this to Christian. It is my 12 keys to success, and you can either email me or her, and I'll send this to you, but it goes over 12, and it explains it and shows you action items to actually implement it, because if you don't do anything with it, it's a waste of paper, it's a waste of time. So be sure to ask for that, because you can actually start changing your business by implementing some of these business principles and developing the attributes that I'm going to share with you today. So I'm pretty excited to share all of this with you. Did you give me the hosting so that I could share the screen?
Done.
Done? Okay. So what I want to do is I'm going to go through a presentation with you of some of these principles that I just talked about and some attributes. You probably have heard this before, and you probably have some of these attributes already. But the key is to continue to grow, to continue to get better, to continue to master what you're doing. When you master what you're doing, that's when your business starts to compound and explode. And so with this information, my goal today is to share it with you. But my real goal is for you to take this information and do something different. Because if we keep doing the same thing, we're going to keep getting the same results. My goal is for you to be inspired enough to add something into what you're doing, or to expand what you're doing, to maybe do it a little differently so that you can have different results. Because I will share with you that in my book, Belief, the Foundation to Success, I interviewed people in poverty, I interviewed people in the middle, upper middle, and people who are wealthy. And these principles that I share, they helped each and every one of those people in all those different levels of financial success when they started to create more success, to where each and every one of them were in the top 1/10 of 1% of what they did. So to me, that means if it works for everyone, and in fact, one of the individuals, I'm going to tell you a short story. I'm going to start with that. He was successful in 5 different industries by using these same principles, developing these attributes. So these are things that each and every one of you can do if you choose to, but you got to choose to and take action in order to change things. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. This is not going. Hang on one second, ladies. My screen is not moving. Hang on one second. I'm going to do this one instead. That way I can actually scroll, because it won't let me scroll. So the one thing that I will tell you is the question that we're going to answer today is this question. Hang on one second. I'm used to this actually scrolling, Christian. I apologize. So the question that we're going to answer today is, why are some people successful and other people not? To me, that was always something that perplexed me, because I used to work hard, and for whatever reason, I wasn't having success like they were. So what I did is I did this research and I started applying principles myself. And because of that, I started having that success at higher levels in every industry that I went in, including athletics. So when you think about this and when you figure it out, which I'm going to share with you today, I'm going to share with you not only why, I'm going to show you what you have to do. So if you apply these things, you will all create the success that you want to create. The story I'm going to start with, I usually end with this, but I'm going to start with this. This individual that I interviewed in my book, he had success in several different parts of his life. And I want to share this with you because he goes through every principle that I'm going to share with you once this story is over. But I don't want you to think about the successes that he had. What I want you to think about is what he did, the adversities that he hit, how he went around them, over them, and through them to create the success that he was able to create. This young man started out in a ghetto. I'm sure that some of you have been to San Diego. So like every major city, every city has an inner city, or what they consider an area of poverty. Like in LA, it's Compton and Watts. This young guy lived in an area called Logan Heights in San Diego, which was their version of Compton and Watts in LA. So he grew up in poverty. The one thing I will tell you is that he was blessed because he had both parents. And in that kind of a neighborhood, that made a huge difference for him, because his mom was very religious. She took him to church. And the reason I bring that up is every motivational speaker, every personal development speaker, every leadership speaker, the things they share are from the Bible. They just change the words for the regular audience. It's not a preaching, but these principles all came from the Bible. And so this young man was able to gather this information at a very young age. They actually he grew up in an 8x35 trailer. So it was like the size of a travel trailer with his mom, dad, and brother. So they were the poorest in this area. When they would go to school, they would walk by the housing projects, and the kids would call them trailer trash. So this was a kind of a rough deal for them. But because of his belief in what he was learning from his mom, his dad, and the different people at the church, he was able to apply principles that helped him create massive success in life. In these kinds of areas, most of the young men, their goal is to play professional sports to get out. He was no different. When he was in elementary school, he had already had a plan to play in the NFL, the National Football League. He wanted to be a wide receiver. He was 5'2" and he weighed 100 pounds. So I don't know if you know anything about American football, but I'm telling you right now, he would get squished like a bug. But he was excited about that as a goal to get out of the ghetto. 4 years later, when he was in ninth grade, he had grown to 6'2", and he had put on some weight. So now he's more that size. His parents never had the money to let him play in, sports, club sports or that kind of stuff. So he would just play catch in the street, football in the street. He would race kids for speed. He worked on the fundamentals of what he wanted to do. Because you have to work on what matters in what you're doing, whether it's real estate or sports, there's fundamentals that we have to master. In ninth grade, it was still middle school where he went to school, so he only played flag football, basketball, and track. He did great. He was the leading receiver. He even played defense. He was the leading safety on the team. Played basketball, ran track. He was great. When he went into his sophomore year, he was going to play tackle football for the first time. He was excited. He made the team, but the coaches decided to put him in at defensive safety instead of a wide receiver. So that's an obstacle. Every one of us faced obstacles, but he didn't let that get him down. He stayed positive. He stayed committed. He kept working on the fundamentals of the position he played. He got really good, but he went a step further. He did, after practice, he would run patterns for the quarterbacks so that he would get some wide receiver time. 8 games into the season, he actually was going to get to play wide receiver because of an injury that occurred. So he was excited. First game, 8 games in, he's going to get wide receiver. He had the biggest game that the school had ever seen. He caught 4 touchdowns for over 250 yards receiving. So if you don't know the statistics of football, that's double what a great game would be. So in 4 games, he was the leading receiver for the high school team. He played basketball. He made the varsity team. Track, made the varsity team. He was really good. He's the fastest kid in school. So going into the spring of his sophomore year, he was going into spring training for football. And they test athletes on their speed, their agility, and that kind of stuff. So in the 40-yard dash, this guy ran what was called a 4.3-second 40-yard dash. That is world-class speed. And that was back in 1972. Now, that's still world-class speed. He had a 42-inch vertical, and if he touched the ball, he caught the ball. So these are attributes that professional athletes would like to have. So he's ready for that goal. He, that summer, played summer league basketball, and the last game of the season, his neck was hurting, and a buddy of his said, "Hey, your back is out. Let me crack your back." So he put his hands across his chest, and the guy squeezed him, and they heard a snap. He played the game, but after the game, he collapsed on the floor. They rushed him to the hospital. So the doctors do all the tests, the x-rays and things like that. The next morning, the doctor comes in, he goes, "I got good news and I got bad news. Good news is you're not paralyzed from your neck down. The bad news is you broke your neck and you can't play football ever again." So all the adversities that we have, just think about that. That changed everything for this young man. You guys have adversities in real estate. You get people saying no. You get all kinds of stuff. There are ways to go around it. Sometimes you have to change. Sometimes you have to do it differently. This young man had to change everything. He had to have a different plan. So he thought, I'm still a good athlete. I'll play basketball. That's really late in the game to start to try to make it into the NBA from a junior year. But he tried anyway. He worked on the fundamentals every day, till he mastered those fundamentals of basketball. His junior year, his season was so good that he was written up in a magazine as one of the top 25 kids in California to watch, for the colleges to watch. Senior year had a phenomenal year. Because of it, he got 8 Division I scholarship offers to play basketball. And I'm telling you this because we can all put in the effort necessary to reach our goals if we're willing to put in that effort, if we're willing to work on what matters to get to where we want to go. So he goes to college. He doesn't do that well. The college is okay, but he didn't make it into the NBA. So he goes into corporate America. He's hired by a consumer products company. And because of these same principles and developing these same attributes that I'm going to share with you, he was promoted every 18 months to a higher level in that company. He got to a point where he's in the top 10% of the company, but he's not satisfied. A professional athlete is the top 1/10 of 1% of all athletes, and his goal was to hit the top. That may not be your goal. That may not be what you want. You may not want to be the top real estate agent in Arizona. Maybe you do. But with what I'm going to share with you, it will get you to whatever level you want to go. So he went back to get a master's degree because he wasn't satisfied. So he got a master's degree in business. 2 years later, he's hired to run a company in the camping industry. So this is a new industry. That's the top 1/10 of 1% of all business people. And he's only 38 years old when this happened. So he had already reached the pinnacle of success. But that's not how life ends. There's ups and downs all through life. What happened with this guy is the camping industry had a decline in the economy. So the company went out of business. So now he's stuck. He's overqualified. He has too high a level of education. So no one's going to hire him. He went into the mortgage industry as a loan originator, which is their starting position. And they told him, you won't make 6 figures for a couple of years. Because of the principles I'm going to share with you, he made enough money in his second year to be in the top 5% of money earners in the US. So what I'm going to share with you works no matter what the industry. He was in that industry for 8 years. And in 2008, how many of you were in the industry in 2008? Anybody in real estate? Okay. If you don't know this, in 2008, everything went, it crashed. And the mortgage industry, the same thing happened. So he had to find something else to do because he did jumbo loans, which were eliminated. So his pipeline was gone. So someone came up to him and shared with him a multi-level marketing company. And I don't know if any of you have ever done one, but they're very, very difficult to build. In his first year, he was a top 10% money earner in US standards. Within 15 months, he was in the top 3% of this company. So again, these principles I'm going to share do work. He had a friend who went into the timeshare industry. And so he thought, you know what, that sounds like fun. I'm going to try that. So he got his real estate license and went into the timeshare industry. And lo and behold, in his 3rd month, he was the number 2 salesperson in the organization. So 5 different industries, he had success because he applied these principles and he mastered the fundamentals of what he did. So the fundamentals of what you do is what we're going to talk about in a portion of this, because there are fundamentals that you have to master, things that you do that you master that will create massive success for you. And the reason I'm so passionate about what I just shared with you is because that's my story. I grew up in poverty. I grew up one of the poorest kids in the area and was able to create success in 5 different industries because of what I'm going to share with you today. And to me, that means it works as long as you work. That's the key. We have to work. We have to take action, and we have to make things happen. By the way, that's my beautiful wife. So I've already mentioned what we're going to talk about, but I want to go right into the attributes because we got started a little bit late. So I want to make sure I go through, I picked and chose the certain ones that I want to share with you. And the other ones are in this document. So don't forget to ask for this document. So the first attribute I want to talk about is belief. This is so important. So many people lack self-confidence. They don't believe in themselves. If you don't believe it here first, you will never create success because your mind shuts down any ideas you have for the plan. If problems come up, how to get around them. So you have to believe in yourself. You have to believe that you can and will have success. You have to believe that the plan that you have is going to work. You have to believe that those goals are attainable, and you have to believe you deserve it. And if you believe that, you will create success because your mind, whatever you think you can do, your mind gives you the ideas and the plans in order to accomplish that or go around those problems as they occur. So you have to watch the self-talk, which is what I'm going to end this with today. You have to have a clear vision and clear goals. I work with real estate agents and I do coaching for some, and I will tell you right now, they tell me, I got a plan. I said, okay, show me. They say, it's right here. If your plan is in your head, it's only a thought. Your plan needs to be a written plan with set goals, with daily activities that will get you to that weekly goal, that monthly goal, that annual goal. Because if it's just right here, it's not going anywhere. And here's some statistics for you. If you have a written plan with written goals, with daily activities that get you to those goals, you'll have 39.5% more success than people who don't have a plan. So if you're selling 5 houses, how would you like to sell 7? If you sell 10 houses, how would you like to sell 14? That's the key, or one of the keys, is successful people have a plan. And if you don't know how to create a plan, I do have a program that people can go to that will share with them how to do it. But there are people that can help you with this. It's not that hard, but you have to have a clear vision and clear goals and a written plan. You have to have work ethic. I'm sure that every one of you on this call feel you work hard. Would you agree? Some of you, I can see your faces. Yes, I work hard. Okay. So it's not about just working hard. I mentioned in my story about working on the fundamentals. In real estate, there's 3 to 5 things that you do every day that bring in a buyer or bring in a listing. It could be calling your leads. It could be calling your referrals. Before the pandemic, it was knocking on doors. It was being at open houses and meeting people. Those things are the things we have to put the time in. All the other stuff is minutia. You have to put the time in and work hard on mastering your presentation. You have to master that in order to create success for yourself. You have to have passion for what you do. And I think this is something that has a mixed message, because I ask lots of real estate agents, why are you passionate about what you do? And they say, because I like putting people in the first home, or I like to help people get into a home. That's great. But that's not why you do what you do. You do it for money. And the question is, what is that money for? That's your why. Is it for a better education for your kids? Is it for a nicer home? Is it for a better life for your family? That is your why. And when you establish that, then your business will explode, because that is your focus. That is what you will stay focused on, and it will cause passion and cause you to be inspired about what you do, because it's for your family, it's for your retirement, it's for a nicer home, whatever it's for, keep that in front of you. Some people do a vision board for this so they can see it and visualize it. When you are passionate, you have commitment. In fact, if you aren't committed, if you aren't passionate, you don't know your why, when you start getting no's or rejections, you'll quit. The key is be passionate, and then you'll be committed, and then those no's are nothing more than next. In fact, one of the trainings I'm going to do for all of you is a Go for No training, and it's phenomenal. It's a mindset shift. And here's a brief explanation. If you make 10 calls to your leads, and your average every day you get 3 appointments, 3 or maybe 2, whatever it is. Most salespeople, because they don't like to hear the word no, they don't like rejection, they call 3 people, they get 3 yeses, they quit. That's a problem. We need to practice our presentation to get good at it. So tomorrow, since you didn't make 7 calls, you got to make 17 to get 3. So now you don't have enough time, so now you don't make those calls. So now your production goes down. If you get those 7 no's, no matter what, you get better at what you say, you get more effective at what you say on your close, on your presentation, building the relationship. What happens now is, instead of 3, you get 4 in 10 or 5 in 10. Now you're more efficient with your time because you are committed to do that. It takes discipline to do that, and you have to be consistent and persistent over time. When you're disciplined and you do that every day, you work on those things that matter most every day, and you master them, that consistent, persistent effort, what happens with you is your business starts to compound. It doesn't just add up one house. You start having 3 houses, 5 houses, 7 houses, listings everywhere. I coach a young lady here who, when we started going through these things, her team did 120, she had a small team, like 5 people. They did 120 sales last year. So to me, that's pretty good. And she started from just doing like 15 or 20 herself the year before that. So when you are consistent and persistent, you're committed, you work on the things that matter most, success happens. You have to focus on that. You have to focus on your goal. When you focus on your goal, that's what your mind is working on all the time. So that has to become your dominant thought. Some of these are supposed to be, there we go. You have to be coachable and you have to be humble. And the reason that these are together is because if you have an ego, nobody wants to help you. No one wants to share information with you because they're wasting their time, because you know it all. So if you're humble, Those people that have the wisdom will share it with you. Those people that have the ideas on how to have success, they'll share it with you. When Christian asked me to do this, very humbly, she came to me and said, would you speak? And I told, and she knows what I get paid. I get 10,000 for an hour speech. So I'm willing to share this for nothing because she's humble. I know that she wants to learn. She's coachable. So I don't care who they are. Nobody gets to the top by themselves without the help of other people. And so coachable and humble go together. And here's a brief story, and it's a real estate story. I told you about my family. The most money my mother ever made in 1 year was $18,000. That's it. She retired 4 years ago, and the most she ever made in a year was $18,000. That means that she was below the poverty line her whole life. Her goal was to have enough money so that she wouldn't have to depend on the government when she retired. She wanted a nice life. She didn't want to depend on her kids, which I'm happy about. But she had a goal. That was her vision. And the pastor of the church that we attended was a builder. He would buy lots east of San Diego, way out where they were really inexpensive, a building lot. He'd build a house, buy a lot, build a house, sell it, buy a lot, build a house, sell it. So she goes, you know what, we can do this. I can do this. She had no money, but she didn't make excuses. She bought a lot. We as a family saved cans, bottles, aluminum, copper, whatever we could to make the extra payment. So she paid off a lot. She did it again, pay off a lot, buy another, pay off a lot. Down the road, she sold several lots, built a house, she sold it, but she became the mortgage holder. She owns the paper. She makes 6% for the next 30 years on that loan. We sold 3 of her lots 3 years ago, and she sold them for $100,000. She's making 6% on that loan for the next 30 years. With those properties and all the other things that she's accumulated, CDs, IRAs from buying and selling this, my mom has $1.5 million in the bank. She owns her home, she owns her cars, and she never made more than $18,000 in 1 year. That to me is phenomenal about being coachable and humble, because people will join you to help you create your success when you are. You have to have gratitude, because when you have gratitude, it changes your attitude. And when you have gratitude, it doesn't mean we settle for where we are. What that means is that we have a different perspective on life. Because a positive attitude in what you do is everything. Even when you have a mask on, if you have a positive attitude, it comes out in your eyes. Your happiness, your attitude shows in your eyes. It shows in what you say, how you say it, how you treat people. And when you have a positive attitude, people are attracted to you. Your business, when you get a mature real estate business, it is 66% referral. If you're not that positive person, if they don't want to be around you, if they don't want to work with you, then your business is going to be just a churn and burn. I was selling a home. My wife and I raised some kids in Scottsdale, and we were selling a home. It was 5,000 square foot home in North Scottsdale, and it was during the rough times when the economy crashed. And a friend of mine said, hey, this guy can sell it. So we met with this guy, and he was nice enough. His team was nice enough. But as soon as he started listing, he was a jerk. He was so condescending, so rude, so mean, that we actually were going to fire him after 3 weeks. He got a contract on our home in week 4, but here's the deal. I will never refer this guy, never. I would not subject my people to people that I know to someone like that. So your attitude is a small thing that means everything. Personal growth. You all said that you were busy. Today is personal growth. When you're driving in your car, you have an opportunity to make a choice. Do I do nothing? Do I listen to music? Or can I listen to a podcast to improve myself? Can I practice my presentation for a listing? Can I practice my presentation to a buyer? When you use that time wisely, you can have a master's degree in personal development in a matter of a few years. And here's what I want you to know. Your success will never be more than who you are as an individual. The better you become, the more success you have. So don't put this as, oh, I don't have time for it. That's just an excuse. You can do it when you're in your car. You can do it when you're at the gym, or you can do it when you're taking a walk. Listen to a book in your ear from your phone. There's ways to do this, and don't shuffle it off, because it's an important part of what you do. I'm going to skip this one, ladies. We're going to go here. This is my favorite. I like this. Choices and responsibility. Every one of us, every one of you, I don't care who you are, we are right where we're supposed to be based on the choices we've made and the habits we've created, period. And if we don't take responsibility for that, we can't move forward. So think about this. We choose to study in school or not. We chose our career. You chose real estate. You choose to work on your fundamentals or not. You choose all these things. We're right where we're supposed to be based on our choices. And here's the good news. If you don't like where you are, you can change it. You can change it right now by making a decision to start doing things differently. Start working on yourself. Start working on those 3 to 5 things that matter in your industry and start creating more success. Change your mindset. Work on your belief in yourself. Create a written plan. Take action on that plan. And above all, don't let the big buts get in your way. Everybody has a big butt. I hear people all the time say, I would do this, but I don't have time. I would do this, but I don't have money. If my mom said that, she would not be a millionaire today. You got to get rid of the excuses because you cannot have success and excuses at the same time. So you have to get rid of it. Every one of the books I have on belief, the ones Christian, I think you bought this, but every one of the books that I have on that, this quote is in every one of them because I believe so much in this. Tomorrow hasn't been written yet, so decide today what tomorrow will be. Decide today what tomorrow will be. It's your choice. It's your decision. You're the director of your own life. You get to write the script for your future, and you get to act it out by taking action. So you have to take action on those things that you want to create. You have to write the plan so that you can reach the plan. Because this is the reason I'm having to scroll through these is because this is it's not the I hid all these slides, everyone, but the reason that I have to go through them like this is because I couldn't do the slideshow. It wouldn't work. So anyway, I'm going to escape from this. So what I'm going to do is just end this. So I want to talk about self-talk. So self-talk, you're probably thinking, what is self-talk? Okay, that's what self-talk is. It's your mind thinking things to yourself. And self-talk will defeat you every time if it's negative. If you don't believe in yourself and you're saying, I can't do this, guess what? You can't do this. If you don't believe in your goals and you're telling yourself, oh, that's too much, it's too much. If you don't curb your, and everyone has it, I have self-talk that comes up that's self-defeating also, but mine's gone in a second because I start looking at something positive. I start looking back at successes that I've had. I start reading something that's positive because you can't let that negativity take over your life. You can't just think positive and create success, but if you think positively, you can work on creating success. You can take action on creating success. You can make those things happen. Because if I can come, I don't know where any of you grew up, and some of you may have had a similar background to me, but I can tell you where I grew up, most people don't make it out. This is an area where men are in jail, they're murdered, they're in gangs before they even get to the 18 years old. So if I can make it out and I can create success and I can use some of these basic things to do it, I'm telling you right now, the sky is the limit. You're in real estate. You can focus all these on what you do and start creating a different future for you and your family tomorrow. So with that, I'm going to open this up for questions. I didn't go through everything, but we started a little late and I've got to take off here in a little bit. So, but if you have any questions, I'm going to wait around for some.
I have a question.
Yes.
I have, my favorite quote has been, if you win the morning, you win the day.
Right.
What are some of your morning habits, or what would you recommend for most?
Well, I brush my teeth first. Well, just think about it. That's a habit, right? When
Right.
we're
Yeah.
little, mom and dad says, brush your teeth, but you're talking about positivity. So what I do is, Christian actually forwards them, but I post a positive thought and quote Monday through Friday. But I also listen to, I don't know if you've heard of Darren Hardy, but Darren Hardy was the publisher of Success Magazine, and you can go to darrenhardy.com and sign up for a free, he sends an email every morning at 3 a.m. So when you wake up, it's a 3 to 5 minute video about something about success. One thing. If you just add one thing each day to what you're doing, by the end of the year, you've had 300 things to what you do, 365 things. So things like that. I listen to YouTubes like with Jim Rohn and different things, but I'll pick and choose one or two things that I listen to every morning without fail. Because you're right, you start your day on the right track, and that's the track it stays on.
What was
Thank
that
you.
website to get that morning email?
DarrenHardy.com, DarrenHardy.com. And when you go there, you can sign up. It's a free, it's called Darren Daily. And it's great. I mean, he's phenomenal. He's interviewed every successful person in the world, from Steve Jobs to, all these people that own all these companies. I mean, he's interviewed them all, and he's a great speaker and he has great programs.
And then you had mentioned that we can get copies of the documents from you.
Yeah, you can either email me. This is it's 12 Keys to Success, but you can email me or Christian, and mine is Gary at GaryVarnell.com, which the last name is V as in Victor, ARNELL. And here's my suggestion. On this document, it explains the key, and then it explains how you can take action on it and implement it. Because if we don't implement it and work on it and create a habit out of it, then we can't create success out of it. So each one is one page for each belief. I mean, for each principle. Anyone else?
More questions, ladies? Gary, I want to ask you, as you know, we're doing this series, right? So
Yeah.
what can we expect on the next meeting? So everybody can, save time and make sure. I know that there were so many ladies that text me and message me, and they say, I'm so sorry, will be in a meeting. I'm so they were devastated because they were not gonna be able to join. But we're recording, so we're gonna share it. But just an advance of what's coming.
So on the next one, we're going to talk about what it takes to become that person of influence, to become that person that other people want to work with, the attributes it takes, some things that we can do to build ourselves into that person. If you have a team or you want to be a team, how to be that leader of the team. So this is going to be leadership and also becoming that person of influence to attract people to you, not just your sphere, but customers, buyers, listings. Man, when you walk in the room and you light the room up, guess what? They want to work with you. So that's what we're going to talk about in the next one. And then the last one's going to be about how to overcome adversity, how to overcome those no's, that rejection. In fact, I'll be sending, for that last one, I'll be sending out a form that people can go through and fill it out as we go along. It's more of a training. The next one's more of a speech that I give that gives all this information, and then we can apply it at that point. Hi there. Do you have a question?
Good morning, Gary. This is Cheryl Ladd. I'm actually the branch manager for Christian's branch. And I just want to first say thank you for supporting her and doing this with her. And also ladies, everybody that's joined. I think everybody, we're all in this crazy time right now and trying to maneuver and navigate this new normal. I hate to say that, but one of my favorite quotes has always been, and it hangs in my office, and it says, the grass is greener where you water it. And so I think, like you just said, Gary, it's not where you come from, it's where you're going.
That's exactly right.
I just want to say thank you. I'm so Christian has stepped up and is doing this and to help, community, anybody that's interested in making day better, actually supporting our business partners and helping clients get into more homes if that's what you're a loan officer, whatever the case is.
Absolutely.
So again, thank you.
The grass is greener where you water it. That's perfect. So you know what?
Write that down.
To me, the watering it is working on those things that matter most. You're fertilizing your fundamentals and your statistics of what creates that success for you.
100%.
Have questions?
Ladies, feel free to ask.
I'm not shy. I will answer. I want you to know that I had a coat I was going to put on, but it's a little warm today.
No coats needed, honestly.
Okay. But as you know what, I talk to people about creating success, and you have to look the part. So I normally do this in a suit, but for whatever reason, it's humid today, and I was having trouble having the coat on.
Well, you don't need to dress up for us.
Oh no, I like to look. You know
We're
what? You need to get what you pay for, and I like to give what I'm supposed to give. So.
No, we're very thankful to have you. I believe that the message is clear and it's loud. We need to put in the work, but we also have to have a strategy for that. So I'm so thankful that, again, for your support, for allowing us to do this, and for all the women, right, that are inside the group and the ones that are not, but they want to grow and they want to take their business to the next level, especially during these tough times. I think that, we couldn't thank you enough for sharing this with us. I know for a fact that it has been a challenge for a lot of us going through this since it started, because we're going through a new norm. And the reality is that haven't even really figured it out what the new norm will be. So we're so thankful to have you.
Absolutely. And I was going to say, I did not go through all those principles. So that's why getting this document would be important, because I didn't have the time to go through everything. So
I have a list of the ladies that join us. If anybody is interested, I will be sharing with you later on today a link, or maybe you can email him or email me, and let's work on it. I mean, it is information that, as he says, it will cost a lot of money for us to get that. And we have it, and it's not costing anything. So ladies, take advantage. Any questions that you have, and again, we're very thankful for everyone today. And this is just the starting of something really amazing. I guess 2020 is not that bad, huh?
So everything I talked about today was in this first book, Belief, and then the other one, my leadership book, is where the other ones are coming from. So,
Gary, where can they get your books?
They can go to garyvarnell.com/store. My store is secure. I have a web designer that developed it and stuff. So, but that when they get through my store, there's a special where they can buy both books for I think it's $19.95. If they buy them from Amazon, it would be more, and then it's plus shipping. So they actually come from me. I sign them and put a little message in and send them off.
Amazing. Okay. Anybody has any questions? Anything that you would like to share with him? I know Jessica Hernandez said no question from me, but thank you so much, Gary. This was great. That's what you say.
You are welcome. Can't wait to see all you ladies on the next one. Well,
Clarissa Marquez,
we want to fill it up.
Yes, we're gonna fill it up.
Yeah.
We knew that the initial one was gonna be kind of slow, but we're gonna make sure that we're gonna fill out the room.
Yeah, you and I can work on how to get my presentation to work so that I don't go through the slides that I'm not supposed to go through that I've hidden. All right.
Sounds good.
Have a great day. Have fun.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Gary.